Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If I could have everybody's attention, please. Okay. If I could have everybody's attention, please. Our official party is heading up to the front, and they'll be heading up and gathering here in a minute, and we'll go ahead and start our program. Appreciate everybody coming out this morning on such a beautiful day. I'm Mike Ryan with Lockheed Martin, and before we begin, I just want to thank everybody at UCF over the last 4 to 5 months has worked very hard to put this program together. So as soon as I see all of our official party up to the front working their way through the crowd, we'll go ahead and start. Okay, everybody here? Okay. Come on forward. Okay. I think we have everybody, so Dr. G.
Good morning. Thank you all for coming. This is the grand opening of the Lockheed Martin Cyber Innovation Lab. I'm Michael Georgiopoulos. I'm the Dean of the College of Engineering and Computer Science at the University of Central Florida. Known cyber breaches occur more than 30,000 times a day, according to the Insurance Information Institute, which represents the property casualty industry. According to Forbes magazine, the cost of companies and consumers is estimated to reach $2 trillion this year. Many thanks to Lockheed Martin for supporting this lab to help UCF ensure that we have a ready workforce to combat these pervasive cybersecurity challenges. This lab will serve our students as a dedicated space for collaboration and training in cybersecurity and in building a diverse and large pipeline of talent. Students that will benefit from this space are excited to work with Lockheed Martin cyber experts to build upon their knowledge. With us today, we have Frank St. John, Executive Vice President, Lockheed Martin Missiles and Fire Control, Stephanie Hill, Deputy Executive Vice President, Lockheed Martin Rotary and Mission Systems, and many other distinguished Lockheed Martin leaders. Thank you for coming. From our Florida community, we welcome State Senator Tom Wright of Volusia County, State Representative Tom Cortez, Osceola County, and Jacqueline Gomez Tejeda, representing House Representative Carlos Guillermo Smith of Fort Lauderdale. Thank you for your support of our cyber initiatives and sharing these moments with us today. President Deli Whitaker could not be with us today, and Thad Seymour, who is the Vice President of Partnership and Chief Innovation Officer, will represent him today. Nevertheless, Dale Whitaker has seen the cybersecurity team grow and successfully build a championship record over these more than 4 years, where he served as a UCF provost and now president of the university. Thad, please join us.
Well, good morning. What a day. I know President Whitaker is so sorry not to be able to be here, but he shares all of our enthusiasm for this incredible milestone in the development of our relationship with Lockheed Martin and the continued growth and focus of our great university on cybersecurity. And he will get a full report from all of us, I'm sure, but he sends his greetings and his apologies. I am really excited to be here to represent the university and to convey our excitement about the potential that we have in this area and to celebrate our partnership with Lockheed Martin, which has so many growing dimensions. It's been long-standing, but it has enormous possibilities, as you'll hear from Frank and others throughout the day. We've been making great strides focused on excellence in all of our academic programs, and this one in particular in cybersecurity is one that we couldn't be more proud of the work of those who are working hard in this area. And as we all know, this is critical to the future of our country and the security of our partners in the world as well. This state-of-the-art facility is going to help us drive those initiatives forward even faster and further, and really serve as the primary hub for our students to come together and build on what they're already doing to do an even more magnificent job in this critical area, in this high-demand field that we all understand, and Lockheed Martin more than anybody. We are so grateful and thankful for Lockheed Martin's confidence in UCF and their generosity in supporting the creation of this center with their $1.5 million gift and a 20-year long-term partnership in working on this lab with us. we're grateful for the partnership from Lockheed and from all of our community and regional and state partners as well. So thank you for your support. Let me turn it over now to give you a little bit of a sense of how this really is going to come to life. And that's in the hands of our students. And so I'm going to invite David Maria up here, who is the president of HACC at UCF, who's doing incredible things with his team and work that we're all so proud of. So David, you want to come up and bring this to life?
Let me just get set up here really quick. Good morning, everybody. Just 1 second.
I think he's trying to hack the lab.
So, good morning, everybody. I'm David Maria, the president of HACC UCF. So today I'm going to be talking a little bit about what HACC UCF is, what we do, and how we plan on using this new Cyber Innovation Lab to kind of achieve our goals over the next few years. So the first question is, what is HACC UCF? So, sorry about that. So, HACC at UCF is a registered student organization here at the University of Central Florida. So we're a club on campus. We're over 300 students who are all passionate about cybersecurity, and some people call us professional competition winners. So our mission as a club is to strive to foster a generation that's aware of information security, specifically in the Central Florida area. So how do we go about doing that? What does HACC UCF do? So the first thing we do is we educate our members and people of the community. So we have weekly meetings every Friday where we go over a wide range of topics in cybersecurity. We have weekend workshops for offensive competitions, defensive competitions, and all sorts of things that we think we need to teach our members for them to be able to be successful in the security industry. We also do community outreach, talking to people in high schools or just the community in general, so everybody's aware of information security, whether they want to go work in the field or they just need to learn how to kind of protect themselves online. We also compete. So after you've been educated for a couple years in the club, you kind of need an extra push to push yourself further. And that's where these competitions come in. So we compete with teams from all around the country and sometimes all around the world to kind of hone our skills and show where we rank against other teams. So we compete in both offensive and defensive competitions all year round. The last academic year, we competed in over 43 competitions, and we placed in the top 3 in over 19 of those. So that's all great, but the big question is how we plan on using this new Cyber Innovation Lab to kind of push us to the next level, right? So our plans for this lab is, first of all, we have the physical space. So we have a new space to compete and collaborate on our time whenever we want. So this means more workshops, more presentations, bringing out people from Lockheed Martin to teach our members. And aside from the physical space we have now, we're also, along with this lab, we're building out a lab infrastructure, kind of like a little cloud of our own that's hosted elsewhere on campus. And with this new lab infrastructure, we can host all sorts of resources for our members. So we can host new workshops for software that's hard to set up. We can set it up in this little cloud, and everybody in the lab can go ahead and access that remotely, no matter what computer you have. So we've got workshops to give access to these tools that are hard to get their hands on, and it'll get our members ready to work in industry because they'll already have hands-on practical access to these tools. We're going to have competition-ready like virtual machines. So one of the big issues with competing in some of these competitions is it's a lot of software you need to install on your computer. You need to have everything configured properly. And if you don't have the right computer, you might not be ready to compete. So using this lab infrastructure, we can set up these virtual computers that no matter what laptop you have, you can access them remotely and use them to compete or to practice to compete. And they come pre-installed with all the software you're going to need and all the configurations you're going to need to do well in the competition. And that includes paid tools. So tools that some students may not have access to pay for, they'll be able to access it through this lab to practice, and they'll have that experience for industry, and they'll also be able to use it for a competition. And we'll also use it for training. So our Collegiate Cyber Defense team has already been using it for training over the last week. It's a space where we can come in, collaborate, and train for these competitions, and using that lab infrastructure, we can simulate the competition environment, and from within this lab, we can access that simulated competition environment and practice so we're ready when the next competition comes. So I'm going to go into a demo showing you, as a student, what it's going to look like to use the Lockheed Martin Cyber Innovation Lab. So it kind of all starts off in this wiki we're going to be building out, right? That has a list of resources and practice that you can use to kind of get familiar with these resources. So I'm going to get started. If I were a student and I wanted to compete in a capture the flag competition, right? First, I'd go to lab resources. We'd have instructions on how to access the remote lab infrastructure, and we'd have a list of resources that are available in this new lab infrastructure that's set up. So I'd want a capture the flag virtual machine. So a capture the flag is an offensive competition, and we're going to have these virtual machines ready with over 100 tools, some of them paid, so that any student can kind of access these and compete. So if I were a student, I could go ahead and access it remotely from any laptop. And once I access it, if I'm new to this, I won't know what tools to use, kind of like how to use these tools. So we're also going to have guides for these students to say, if you want to work on these challenges, here are the tools that exist on these machines, and here's how you get familiar with them. So reverse engineering is a category of these offensive competitions where you go ahead and figure out how a program works and sometimes change the way it behaves. And one of the tools we're going to have on these virtual machines is Binary Ninja, which is a lot of the features we use for competitions is paid. So we have this paid software that students are going to be able to get access to. And then we have these kind of walkthroughs so they can get practice using it. So when the competition comes, they're ready. So if I wanted to get good at reverse engineering and I wanted to get familiar with this Binary Ninja tool, I could open up this walkthrough and it'll tell me there's a program called Lockbox on the virtual machine. And the goal is to use the Binary Ninja tool to figure out what the password is and to change it so that no matter what password you give it, it'll give you the flag. So we can kind of run the program and see that if we give it the wrong password, it'll not give us the flag. And then if we use this program, we can kind of go ahead and go here. So this program kind of takes machine code that is not human readable and kind of abstracts it so humans with some experience can kind of read it and understand what's going on. So here in this program, after some experience, you can kind of figure out that on this line, it's kind of comparing what we give it with the word password. So from there, we learn that the password is password, and we can go ahead and test that out. And it gives us the flag. But that's just the first part of the challenge. The second part of the challenge was to figure out how to use this tool to edit the program to do what you want. And that's one of the most powerful things about this tool, Binary Ninja, is that it allows you to patch programs or just change the way they flow really easily. So if I can just go here, right-click patch, and then I'm going to change the logic of the program. So no matter what we give it, it's always going to go down this branch. And then save the new file. And then I can go ahead and run it. No matter what I give it, it'll give me the flag. Right? So this is just an example of I wanted to compete in offensive competitions. This is how I would kind of use this new environment we have to get familiar with the tools and then actually use these tools to compete. And it's not just for offensive competitions. We're also going to have resources for people that are interested in defensive security and also digital forensics. So just one other resource I want to show is TimeSketch is a software that allows people to collaboratively analyze forensic timelines. So you get a ton of events from a computer and try to look at all of them and figure out, build a timeline, what happened, how did the hackers get in, what did they steal? So one of the issues with this is, one, it's a lot of data, and if you're trying to get into it, you can't generate the data yourself to practice on because you don't know kind of what that data is going to look like. And it's also kind of hard to set up this tool. So here we have a server set up already that the students would be able to access. And it's not just setting up the tool, it's also populating it with data. So once this loads, we can see the server is already set up and it's populated with over 180,000 events and 7 different timelines that they can look at. So they can come in here and spend hours just digging through all of these events and practicing digital forensics timeline analysis. And we also have the guided workshop to kind of show them this is what you should be looking for in the timeline. You should be looking for like what the operating system was, find the attacker activity, what tools they used. And they can go ahead and use this tool and kind of dig through all of that and look through things like a timeline of when files were deleted and kind of try to pick out a time where they think is suspicious activity was happening and then use the tool to kind of dig into that further. And these are just 2 examples of the tens of examples we have of workshops that we want to build out and resources we want to provide in this lab. And we're really excited to kind of see where this goes. And we're really thankful to Lockheed Martin and the university for providing it for us. So, thank you.
Wow. So hard act to follow. Couple things. David, I need to get you a Lockheed Martin star for your laptop. And for some reason, I feel like I should have left my cell phone in the car. Yeah, a little bit of vulnerability here, right? First of all, thank you all for coming. This is a significant event for Lockheed Martin and for the University of Central Florida. We are committed to meeting our customers' biggest challenges. And of course, one of our customers' biggest challenges is cybersecurity. It's one of our nation's biggest challenges. And so I'm really happy to be here today and to be officially launching a partnership here with the Cyber Innovation Lab. You know, when I was a student here a long time ago, we thought we were pretty high tech. I was in the first class that took a programming class doing Fortran 77. And we were the first class that did not use punch cards. And we thought we had arrived. You know, we were on the cutting edge of technology. Obviously, a lot has changed in more than 35 years. But one thing that has remained constant is the strength of the partnership between Lockheed Martin and the University of Central Florida. So I'm really happy to be here today. Thank you all for coming, and look forward to cutting the ribbon here with the team and then getting on to letting the students do some fantastic new work in this facility. So thank you.
I think it's the ceremonial ribbon ceremony, right? So I guess it's me and Frank and Thad and Stephanie and David who will join me up on the floor to cut the ribbon. We did. I think some of us will stay in this room for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, but the rest of you, please join us in Engineering 2. It's the building that you go through this door over there. And in room 102, we are going to have a panel discussion to talk about cybersecurity today. We have some great group of panelists that will share their thoughts with us today, and we'll hope that we will see you there in the next 15, 20 minutes. Thank you.
I'll introduce you to Senator Wright and Representative John Cortez.
Okay, very good.
Great job, David. Thank you.